Good morning and welcome to Wednesday, the 1st of the month, and it is non-farm week, non-farm payrolls on Friday. Today we have a very interesting day. The whole week actually has been pretty interesting as far as indices are going. If we're looking at the Dow Jones and the S&P, let's take a look at the economic calendar for today. Today on the docket we have some really big announcements for the US dollar. In the early hours of the morning, we did have the Australian data coming out, the retail sales, and of course at 10 a.m. this morning we have the PMI data coming from the Eurozone and the manufacturing PMI coming from Great British Pound. We all know that last couple of days for the pound and the euro, we've seen a decline in price from relative highs to much lower pricing on both euro and sterling. It's been a very, very interesting week, mainly due to, I think, the build-up of the data and also the aftermath of the Scottish referendum, particularly for the pound. I know that looking at charts on New Zealand dollar and on the Aussie, that we have two different scenarios playing out, but the one that's on my mind is obviously the ADP and the ISM manufacturing PMI. And if you're an oil trader, we have the all-important crude oil inventories, which expected there was a deficit last month of minus 4.3 million barrels, and they're looking at an improvement on looking at positive data, 1.2 million barrels actually in storage. So this might have an effect on the price of oil. We may see prices falling and value of a barrel dropping. But data for today, very, very interesting. And as we all know, tomorrow we also have Eurozone data, construction PMI from the pound, and the minimum bid rate and ECB conference from the euro. And also unemployment claims again on Thursday, and then the big one on Friday is a non-farm data from the United States. The previous month's data was pretty horrendous at 142. Expected data this month is 216. My thoughts on that are that we're going to see some negativity again. I think we're going to come in underneath the 216. I think around 160 to 180. Is more realistic. So if we take a look at exactly what's happening in the markets, we can talk about firstly the dollar strength. If we're looking at the Dow, just let me pull you a chart of the Dow. The Dow, very interesting. This is a daily chart with an ingrained trend line. I did put a weekly trend line onto my chart and lowered the time frame. We're still above the 200 average on the Dow Jones. Looking at previous historical data, this is the longest string of gains for this particular instrument since 2008, which was the height of the financial crisis. And you can't stop comparing it with this particular climb, because over the past 3 months the dollar has actually surged about 700 pips to 4-year highs, which is fantastic. If we take a look at the daily, we can see that we had a little bit of noise from the weekly trend line, a test and a false breakout, which was controlled by the 200 moving average, which then pushed on to resume the trend. Basically, it's resuming along its natural path, switching over to euro. Euro, a little bit of a different story. That's a pound chart. Just pull up a euro chart. It's all negativity on the euro. Sorry for all of the trend line to euro. We're reminded about the euro. It's been a very, very choppy past couple of sessions with event risk from the European Central Bank and its stance on whether or not to ease monetary policy. Germany, largest player in the Eurozone. The statistics there for the past session were very headline worthy. It was Eurozone's unemployment rate and inflation figures that waded into making the more negative push downwards. 11.5% unemployment rate and the 0.7% core CPI rates added justification to this further push lower below the 127 area. Who knows where we're going to head with the non-farm data. If it does come out negative for the United States dollar, then we could see both euro and cable pushing higher. Talking of cable, I really like to trade on cable and trade it every day. You just pull up a chart. What I've done here is I've overlaid the FTSE 100, which is the yellow the yellow graph overlay of my data, and I do use it to try to give me a pre-game of what's going to happen on the pound. The pound, in the months leading up to the Scottish referendum, the British pound was already in retreat, which was weakening. Moderation in the market's position and the forecast rates showed the bulls in the market that the Bank of England was serious, and the pace was going too fast. How much premium excess do we have? Well, who knows? Well, I think we could see pound down around 160 with data from England, and obviously push down even deeper. Today we have manufacturing PMI, as I mentioned earlier on, and this should offer us a clear future path to where the currency is going to go. But be prepared, we may see a pullback and a bounce around the 160, 150 area, with this being a key area of support on the chart here. We did hit support previously back on the 16th of September. We could see a repeat of this, and with the non-farm could push us back up to around the 63 area there. So keep an eye out for that one. A couple of traders actually asked me what's going on with gold. We take a look at gold spot. Gold spot, very interesting. We all know gold anti-dollar, so when dollar getting stronger, the gold is actually weakening. We're hanging around the 1200 area, and it is very interesting. What I've done here is I've overlaid a graph of the Dow Jones on top of the gold, try to give me a direction of sentiment for the United States dollar. It does help with possible breakouts on gold, but very negative for gold for the last quarter. Slipped further to its lowest point for 2014, 6.2%, I believe, in total, which was the June 2013 plunge as well, where the final day of trading for the month and the quarter was a little bit more dramatic for other metals such as copper, 1.6% down, and silver 3% down. So all in all, a bad quarter for commodities, for metals. And that's about it for today. And if you have any questions, please get in touch with me. Wish you all a great trading day, and I'll be doing another review tomorrow. Bye bye.